What up, everybody? It's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review, keeping our 10th anniversary party going. This is a little something I was just able to pick up finally off of secondary market sources. This is Transformers Earthrise Thrust, a Target exclusive that unfortunately is pretty much sold out on Target.com and goes for usually obscene amounts of money on the secondary market, but I was a little lucky and got it for roughly what it would cost to have it shipped from Target.com. And yeah, definitely don't go ahead and pay those markups. But this is the final member of the Coneheads team. If you remember, Dirge and Ramjet were Amazon exclusives, rather hard to come by, and they too go for really crazy money. Thrust, Thrust, as you can see, being red, was Target, and we could have a discussion about exclusives and why they exist and yada yada, but that's stuff I've kind of covered before. This is a nice looking jet. We're starting off in vehicle mode, of course. It is a VTOL. You have the wings right there, and the tail fins. And honestly, there's really not that much different, although I want to pose a question to you guys. So, is Thrust a repaint retool of Starscream? Or were Ramjet and Dirge repaints retools of Starscream, and then Thrust is a repaint retool of one of them? Like, did Starscream begat all three Coneheads? Or was it just one Conehead and then the other two were repaints, retools off of that? These are the things that keep me up at night. If you remember my previous reviews of the Coneheads, you do know that due to the new knee pads, there is to be able to access the stand port is kind of null and void to have a somewhat flush vehicle mode. So we'll pause and we'll come back with the transformation. Alright, so we've kind of covered the transformation before. I'm not going to go too much into it. Remove the null rays. Bring the wings up. Now you do have a couple options. In packaging, the wings are positioned like this so they hang a little low, or you can rotate them around like the traditional Seekers, and they will kind of swing upward. I've discovered having the wings up makes them a little easier to handle. Plus, in robot mode, you don't have the ports under the wings sticking out. But when we get to robot mode, I'll show you both ways. Next, what you want to do is come underneath here, open up those knee pad covers, and like I said, there's the port for the stand that's kind of blocked, but it is what it is. Accordion the legs out, bring them up, and now just peg the kneecap coverings back in. Open up the feet, just like so. And I guess at this point you can go ahead and separate the legs. Next comes the fun part of the transformation, where you got to squeeze the torso ever so slightly to try and get the chest to pop open. Or, it's one of these little doohickeys here. Just, there you go. Get one. You can usually get the other. And as always, I say this is the hardest part of the transformation, because you got to open that up to get to the arms. Boom. Boom. And then let's do the nose cone. Bring it up. Rotate. Collapse it down. Close up the chest here. Snap it all the way in. Make sure it's good and tight. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, careful. Oh, there we go. There we go. And then you can go ahead and bring the canopy back. Bring it down. Just like so. And then you do the fun part with the arms. Telescope. them out. And thrust has a really tight joint there, but there you go. Down. And we do it on this side. Open it up. Telescope it out. Bring it back down. Bring the fist down. And there you have thrust all ready to go. Let's go ahead and bring in the null rays, or whatever his weapons were called. That's one thing I miss on the going for this cartoon accuracy, is that the cone heads did have on the original toys, I think pretty much almost individual versions of the arm blasters, or at least two of them did. But so with the wings here, you can fold them inward like that, have them hug them, or as I mentioned, you can flip them around and have them face down lower, which I think might be a little more accurate to the original toy. And then you can have them angle back like that. Like I said, it's really up to you. It's your toy, your preference. Like I said, I find it having them up makes it a little easier to handle. Other than that, quick look at Dirge's head, Thrust's head, pretty much the same as all the cone heads. Obviously, much better than the Masterpiece version that was released over a few years, several years ago. Although now with that new Masterpiece Seeker mold coming, you figure they're going to do the cone heads at some point, and we'll see how that mold is and see how these guys work out. But yeah, I'm happy to have Thrust. Maybe if I got it a little bit sooner, I would be a little more happy to go with the other cone heads. As it is, they're packed away because Earthrise is pretty much over. But I had to get them because who knows if we're going to see them again. Hey, we might get the core class cone heads at some exclusive somewhere. But we'll pause, and I'll be back with my final thoughts. The cone heads are an interesting bit of Transformers history. They came in season 2. They were sort of around for the movie, but after that they were kind of forgotten. Out of all of them, it seems that Ramjet is the one that's had a little more of a lifespan to it, with various repaints in Generation 2, and then Spotlight Comics and this and that. But they were a way to keep the Seeker mold around. And, if you look into other forms of media, they're interesting characters in their own right. Now, to buy or not to buy? Obviously, if you already have the first two cone heads, you kind of need Thrust to complete the set. But if you don't have any of the first two, then it's kind of hard to recommend the figure, especially the fact that right now you'll probably have to go to aftermarket sources to pick the figure up, since distribution and stocking of Thrust is a little spotty. But with that being said, it's cheaper just to get Thrust than to get Ramjet and Dirge in that set. In terms of transformation, you saw there's really nothing new here from Starscream and Thundercracker and Skywarp. The new tooling doesn't add anything to the transformation. It's just aesthetic looks. So there's that. But, again, this is a good Masterpiece replacement. I feel much more stable and sturdy than the Masterpiece Thrust that's floating out there now. So that's about it for the review. If you like this review, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. While I always appreciate the views, the liking, commenting, and subscribing communicates to YouTube through their algorithms that my channel should be highlighted and exalted and held upon high. If you really want to make the ultimate sign of support, please consider signing up for my Patreon. It is www.patreon.com/ChuckDog1999. little card here in the corner. Description, link in the description below. No thrills, no tears, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me help you, help me to help you, bring figures like Thrust to you, as well as keeping up the infrastructure of the channel by new light boxes, lights, cameras, etc., etc. But as always, and I mean this, and I say it all the time, watching my videos is support enough, and I do appreciate it. So, with that being said, it's your old pal Chuck for Thrust. We will see you next time.